the whole background to this discussion, I have said that it is not a formal academic presentation. It's just to interact, to enlighten our people on the issues around traveling abroad. It has generated a lot of issues actually when I was posting the posters and the rest like that. So people say the discussion doesn't name, it is not an issue, people travel and the rest like that. But from different perspectives, if one looks at the people that have really traveled, not only travel for tourists or for visitation or for conference or for meetings, because there are different experiences from these very travels. If you have stayed there for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, the experience you are going to gather is going to be more comprehensive than the people that are just visiting on the purpose. Because what I learned so far is that most of our politicians even travel abroad. They just or for meeting engagements. They don't really move around the town, have time to actually mingle with the communities and have different issues that demanded them to actually gain this very experience. Because I have traveled to different places, a few of them, but when I stayed for 6 months, actually in Germany, the experience I gathered, it was different from when I was traveling for a meeting. Dr. Mike, you are able to make this up. Yeah, thank you for joining. So that was what actually inspired this very idea of discussing it. And if we actually watch YouTube, there are millions of videos made or being made every minute, even every day, about traveling to a particular destination. I remember when I was trying to check where to actually use twice fellowship in Africa. I need to learn about Libya. Turkey. I have traveled past Turkey, like 3 or 4 times, but I didn't have the deep knowledge of, if I want to stay in Turkey, what is going to be the fate and what the experience looks like. So I need to watch almost 50 videos. So which means that I will continue to learn, but until when I see somebody that have lived there and tell me directly, okay, this is how Turkey looks like, it's going to be easier than me trying to search for information or try to. So that is the idea. I'm just giving the background to why we are holding this very session and why is it important, and just to guide our thoughts. Then the second aspect is that there's going to be a free experience sharing. So from the honest perspective of, okay, this is the that I am familiar with, like Dr. Oyedara is familiar with Mexico and the northern America terrain, and he has encountered so many issues, and he has also gathered how to resolve it. Dr. Mike Dioa, he has traveled to India, then some other part of the world for different purposes, but he is now living because he is a visiting scholar at a US university now. So he has this very, and I was trying to also borrow from the idea of Dr. Abidoye, who has traveled to the Middle East. He has traveled to Europe, and he has traveled to some part of the Africa. So these are the variety of the experiences that people can learn from quickly, instead of them trying to know themselves about all these things. And Dr. Barrister Adeyemo, he has actually lived well in almost every part of the country in Nigeria. And he has traveled to the far, maybe northern parts of this very world, or I don't know, because Australia, we are talking of Australia, and he is now in Uganda. So he can actually bring that very weight of experience to educate people. Because like I shared recently, it doesn't nice when people go abroad, they don't know their fate, they don't know what they are going to meet, but because they just want to find a comfort, at the end of the day, they end up stranded, painting the image of the country differently. So to me, I think it doesn't nice. It is a nice experience, because for people that actually want to travel for taking opportunity is going to have an image, command on them. Where are you from, Nigeria? They will think. It has happened to many of us when we reach the border or something like, okay, well, what are you going there to do? They need to check your papers, check everything until when they can certify that. In fact, at times they used to Google that, are you truly coming from an institution, or are you truly into this very business? A lot of people have suffered embarrassment based on that. So that is the idea that we are trying to paint. And I am happy that we are having you on this very interaction. And so starting the program proper now, let me first of all call on Dr. Abidoye, then followed by Dr. Oyedara, then followed by Dr. Mike Liwa, to actually open the discussion like I have explained. Does this interaction even needed? It is an issue. What do you think about it? That is number one. Number two is that what actually motivated your travel? How did you get about that? Okay, let me travel. What has been your experiences when you travel? I think we can just talk about that one within the 30 minutes or so. So, Dr. Lukman Abidoye, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Adebisi. So, good morning, our co-participant. So, it's my pleasure to be with you, to learn from your experiences and insight, and to also share my own experiences. So, can I take the floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You are already on.
Okay. So, based on the two posters you threw, that is, does it really worth it to embark on a journey outside the shore of your country? And what really motivated me to make or take some of the steps I took. So one, is a mixed experience to travel out of your country. And the situation in the country currently is not well structured to guide citizens as to where they are actually heading to. Because in some countries, the citizens are well prepared, are well facilitated to embark on visit. In fact, in Europe, is a norm for every citizen to embark on tourism. It can be common tourism, business tourism, pleasure, or anything. So you can see a citizen of 18 years, 19 years, embarking on a journey alone across Europe. So it has been part of their culture. They have been trained to do it. They can seek government agency advice or direction as to what to do. So they are well guided. But in our country, it's not so. So if you now ask me, does it really worth it? Then I can now say there are a lot of cautions in there. But again, let's look at some other push and pull. Because in the migratory nature of man, mankind has always been migratory in nature. If you read the scripture, you will see people migrating from one settlement to the other. Even the current modern world that we are living in currently, it is a case of settler of yesterday becoming the citizens or owner of today. Go to your hometown. They were settlers at some point in time. They've become the citizens or indigents now. So mankind has always been migratory. So it will continue to the end of it. But does it worth it? Your poster, does it really worth it? That's what we want to emphasize here. There are push and pull. Push is other within the system, within your own geography, then it can push you out. When there are like war, there are and so on, when there is famine in the land, it can push you. There's not enough resources, poverty, it can push, it can push. Then there are pulls again, in which case you are not being pushed now, but something is pulling you from outside. You go on social media, you see your friend who is living fine, it can pull you. Oh, my friend is riding a big car, then it can pull you. You know, our generation of Nigeria now, they are social media generation now. Twitter, Instagram. So you see your friend living in a very fine apartment in UK, US, Australia, it can pull you. Even though you are comfortable in Nigeria, you have your job, but can pull that, oh, somebody is doing something bigger, it can pull. So there are pushes and there are pulls. Now, so it is not left to government to really structure how migration can be, what age and what necessary to be prepared before you can migrate and for what purpose. So like some countries have a very strict regulation about you going outside the country, like the Middle East, Arab countries, you don't just travel. So they see the citizens as property of the state. You don't just travel, especially the female, you don't just travel. And like China too, if you travel in China, you are a property of the state. So you have obligation to return. Majorly, if you want to prove dissident that you want to go and possibly jackpot from your country, cases like that happen there, but they are minimal. In fact, state citizens are already fully aware that they are part of the state and they can't just disembark. So, but in Nigeria, nobody prepares anybody. The state does not prepare you to know that you are part of it or you are not even part of it. You are going, you don't even know whether somebody even needs you at home or if somebody doesn't need you. And those things will create a lot of lacuna for our system. So let me stop at that for the first poster. The second part, that why did I go? On my own case, I've always traveled professionally as my profession dictates. The first time I went for my PhD, I was sponsored by PTDF. The second visit in UK, from UK, maybe Australia, is for professional. It has been professional, which is under an institutional structure. So the last time I went on, last year, I was in Oman for a sabbatical. It was professional. So all my life, it has not been professional. So this jackpot syndrome has not been part of me personally, but it has been a process I've been watching with a lot of feelings. So which I want to cut short for now for others to also make input.
Wow. Wonderful. In fact, from this very opening, I think I've been able to establish the fact that do we really need it? I think we need it. Traveling should be structured. Citizens are properties of the nation. You can't just say you can do whatever you like. But it is a situation we find ourselves that has made it look so as it is. So we are going to continue the discussion with Dr. Abidoye.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam.
So very happy for the opportunity given to me. Okay, it's like you want to say something?
So yes, I want to get if you actually got the statement they were reacting to. I guess you have joined for a while. Did you get it, sir?
Actually, I don't get that statement, okay. But notwithstanding,
okay,
I have some things to say.
All right, sir. Go on, sir. Yes, 10 minutes.
Okay. Sincerely speaking, the federal government of Nigeria has already provided a lot of opportunity for any citizen who is willing to travel abroad. This is because there's a good relationship between the federal government of Nigeria and all other countries. The mere fact that the government has already provided a good landmark for any Nigerian citizen willing to travel abroad. Firstly, now, there's a diplomatic relationship between the Nigeria government and other citizens or other countries. One of it is that in any countries, there is a ambassadors of Nigeria. Likewise, those countries, they also have their own ambassador here in our country. By mere fact, the function of ambassador is to see the relationship between a country and another country. However, there's a good provision in which the federal government of Nigeria has already provided for citizens to easily go to any country that they wish. But the problem is that the problem arises from the citizen of Nigeria moving down to another country. Because you cannot, even when we are talking about in local level, let's take Osun State, for example. If you want to travel from Osogbo down to Ineza, at least you must have your transport fare if you don't have your personal car. At the same time, you cannot just leave your hometown and go to another cities without having a target or without having anybody that you are going to meet or without having any purpose for that. The same thing happened for some citizens. They will like to leave Nigeria and go to abroad. And then mark you, even the transport fare from Nigeria to any country, at least now as I'm talking now, be around over 200,000. And then that 200,000, in fact, is enough for a citizen to establish a business here in Nigeria. But notwithstanding, before you can be able to move from out of this country to another country, you must get some documents, particulars. Among those particulars is something relating to certificate of birth or declaration of age. Beside that one, then the state of origin, passport, and then you try to get the visa. And then getting the visa is more easier for a student who is willing to travel abroad, in as much as you are able to get admission letter from that the school that you are going abroad, or even if you are going to work there. Once you are able to get the employment letter, then you can easily get the visa here. It is mean that you have already provided a good way for yourself. But in a situation when you are not be able to have your passport here in Nigeria, you didn't get a visa, and then you are found one way or the other, you left Nigeria illegally, and then at the same time, when you reach there also, it will be a lot of a problem. Then even if you reach any country in the world, have it in mind that you are representing your family, your name, as well as you are ambassador to this country. In as much as you discover that your visa is about to expire, you have to find one way or the other to renew it. If you cannot be able, then you try to find one way or the other to return back to your Nigeria, to the country. Besides that one, even if you want to travel out of Nigeria now, as presently, it is not so easy for you, because in the airport, they will be willing, even before they can be able to issue a visa for you and to issue a ticket for you. Then, once you don't have the citizen or you don't have a visa for the other country that you are going, then definitely they will not issue a ticket. And then they always like to issue a ticket for some ticket for you. But the problem is this: in a situation, a country, sometimes some people may misbehave. Even here in Nigeria also, in a situation, we have a rules and regulation guiding our relationship between yourself, the other citizen, and then the government. Even here in Nigeria, if a person misbehave or you violate any law of the country, definitely you will be punished. The same thing applies to other countries we are talking about. Let me take Saudi Arabia example. Even holding an alcoholic substance or drinking it is an offense in Saudi Arabia. in a situation where a Nigerian citizen went to Saudi Arabia, and then even if you have the IGAMA, you have a visa, you have everything, whatever may be the case, immediately you are caught, then there's a problem for you. So along the line, the situation, when our people have an opportunity to leave home, some people forget about home, which is not like that. In as much as we have some people from the other country here in Nigeria also representing the country. So my advice is that that we are trying to leave Nigeria for another country, we must have it in our mind that we are representing our family as well as our country, because whatever we do, then it will be named with our country. Because in the olden days, when our people, our fathers, they are in Ghana, Gold Coast, then immediately they register any Nigerian in their school. Then we had Nigeria or Lagos, something like Abdulatif Situ, Lagos, denoting that Lagos was our capital then. So this is my own contribution now. So although there are a lot of problems that our people are facing in abroad.
Thank you so much. In fact, this is another dimension to read: representation, the image, and also the issue of our diplomats and the ambassadors. We are coming to that because it is a big issue. Like Dr. Abidoye has raised, is there any standard operation for that guide the citizens? Are citizens even aware? And our barrister has also mentioned the issue of representation. Are we even aware that we are even representing? Then we have the offices in place. Are they functional? Are they doing their jobs? These are issues.
Okay, what motivated me to travel is that actually I went to Malaysia because I want to specialize on Islamic banking and finance. And then in the world today, it emulated from Malaysia, and then they are the leading in that area. So this is why that I travel particularly to Malaysia in respect of that. And then Alhamdulillah, I thank God. In fact, I was accommodated, and then I was able to achieve what I have. Even they have a special respect to Nigeria in that Malaysia. For example, now let me give you one example. It is against their rule that you just wear something like maybe bedroom slippers to library. So if you want to enter, then they will not deprive you. But something happened to me. There was a day, or it was Friday. I borrowed textbooks, which are supposed to submit the textbook to the library on that day. I was rushing down to mosque. Then I received a call that I must bring it. Okay, no problem, I carry it. Wearing just ordinary, maybe sandal. When I want to enter library, in fact, it's a very funny thing. They said that no, we are not allow you to enter. I say, what happened? They say, see what you wear. I said, okay, there's no problem. I just removed my that. No, something happened. This is why they call us. I said, okay, what is it? Then the man said that initially they firstly refused me to enter library because I wear something like a bedroom slipper. Then I said that you are accusing my bedroom slipper, and then I left the bedroom slipper, and then I went in with my leg. Everybody was continuing laughing. Believe me, after 2 weeks, there's another rules allow students to enter library with whatever they wear. So that is it. It is meant that they are respecting us, and then at the same time, the way Nigeria presented themselves in abroad, this is why that to me, they really accept Nigeria anywhere we go. But the problem is that in as much as Nigeria fail to violate their rules and regulations, then you are welcome. But if you against their rules and regulation, definitely you will be punished. Able to defend yourself, they are ready to listen to you.
Wow, wow, wow.
Immigration, they are also working. They are ready to listen to you. So that is my stand.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think we have seen the justification for Dr. Barrister Adeyemo's travel. He was actually looking for the best place in the world where is a profession or his career is being practiced and where he can get the best training. I think he doesn't prevent anybody. If I want to be a barber or I want to be a footballer, for me to look at a country that is best in footballing or soccer, or that is best in barbing, or that is best in a mechanic, and travel there. In fact, approach the government like, okay, where can I get this very kind of a training? I think these are things that maybe people are not aware, or maybe people are ignorant of, that we have established this very discussion. Thank you so much, our dear Dr. Adeyemo. So let me go quickly to Dr. Oyedara.
Thank you, Mr. Said Adebisi. Good morning to everyone, the erudite, professor, distinguished scholars present. I really appreciate the presentation the first initial presenters have made. It's well, it's well. Now let me go straight to the points, taking it from another perspective on whether this discussion is necessary or not. I must say that this discussion is very important and essential. But starting, we know that this Japa syndrome is not a new thing. Even in the animal kingdoms, they migrate either for breeding purpose, either for food, or where there is overcrowding. Animals do migrate. Same with human, and we must not forget that human needs are insatiable. Human really wants a place whereby they can get satisfied. Okay, so in this case, human also to another to get a place where they can get fulfilled. So this Japa syndrome, of course, is not new, and it is not even peculiar to Nigeria alone. When I was in Mexico, we heard of caravans from Central America, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela, moving en masse into Mexico, all en route into United States. All for what? All for a better life. So, but we also need to know that people, as Nigerians are moving out, people are also moving into Nigeria. So this Japa syndrome is global. People are moving all to satisfy their needs. And we must say that this Japa also has merits and demerits. One of the merits is the remittances that a particular country gets from the foreigners. Like the people in Cuba, when they travel, they make some remittances into their country, and that is used as part of what they need to drive their economy. What about cross-fertilization of ideas? People that travel out of another country, they go there, they learn some new ideas, and when they get those ideas, if they find their way back into the system also benefits from them. But the problem we are basically concerned about, the jackpot that is happening in Nigeria now, is the brain drain. We should not forget that the people that are migrating now are the youth, the productive sector of a particular country. So we need to understand that. But in any case, whatever jackpot is, the system will always adjust to cater for all those people that are living. Now, for persons that want to jackpot, for people that want to jackpot, there are some things they need to know to avoid either deportation issues or problem wherever they are going to. Because we have had series of cases in Mexico where people will be deported at the point of entry. One, what's the reason? One, for lack of purpose. People don't know why they want to travel. They just want to travel because they see the other people, like what Dr. Abidoye said, other people are living well in those places. They don't bother to make research about the immigration laws. They don't bother to make research to know what they need to enter into those countries. They just want to travel. So if they lack purpose, because we're at the port of entry in every country, they ask you, what's your mission in this country? What do you want to do? And then if they said, oh, what we want to do, we came here for tourists. Now they start asking, do you have the financial backings to survive in this country? We have had cases of people that are deported at port of entry because they don't have the sustenance, what they need to sustain them in that particular country. And at the end of the day, money is wasted, effort is wasted, they get dejected, and they come back to Nigeria frustrated. So before anybody can embark on a particular trip to another particular country, it is very essential to know what are the immigration laws. And are the immigration laws friendly? Because not countries have immigration laws that are very friendly. They need to understand that. And they need to understand what they need, the documents that they need to travel. It is important. Well, in other advanced countries, like what Dr. Abudoye said, youths are encouraged to travel to learn more about other countries so that subsequent traveling will not be difficult for them. But in Nigeria, we don't have that case. That case is not what is existing. People just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm tired of this country. There is nothing working in this country. I just want to travel. But traveling is more than that. For example, when I traveled, well, let me take the second reason why I traveled and merge it together. The second reason why I traveled to Mexico, for instance, is basically because of academics. And when I got there, I faced my academics. When my year, when I finished the program, I came back to Nigeria. And then I looked for another opportunity to travel to Mexico for my postdoctoral program. Then I moved into that country. Okay. But many people will come into that country not so well prepared, and they face a lot of challenges. They face a lot. So it is important for someone that wants to travel to understand the immigration law very well, to understand what they need to survive in that country. When I first got to Mexico, language was a problem for me. But along the way, I tried to manage it, and I tried to learn the language and to survive in that particular environment. So the summary of it is that if anybody wants to embark on trip to another country, it is important to have information about that country. Even the culture of that country is important. What is permissible, what is acceptable, and what is not acceptable, so that you don't just go there and start misbehaving, and people can end up in jail. We have had people who have been repatriated, people sent back to Nigeria, and when they come back, it's not always the same. They come back more frustrated than they left Nigeria. I think I will stop here to allow other contributors to make their contribution. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think we are seeing another dimension to this. I want to believe that your experience that actually shaped your thoughts in Mexico was that there are laws. Maybe you find it very strange. There are laws. So thank you so much for that very perspective. And yes,